Well, I was in Washington, I think, yesterday with an ex-advisor. A political advisor for the Biden-Harris campaign. He told me yesterday, Pablo O'Hana, we will speak in 24 hours and Kamala Harris will be the 47th president of the United States. Pablo, the Spanish mother, the Irish father and the Englishman in Washington, what an absolute... Mate, you were stuffed beyond all recognition, man.
It's a really tough day. I'm not going to lie to you. I had faith and I did all we could to avoid this. I'm so proud of Kamala. I'm so proud of our campaign. You know, she worked her backside off. She knew this would be a difficult campaign to win. She took the responsibility on. She sacrificed her life. She sacrificed her time, mentally, physically. She sacrificed everything. I have so much respect for her. She was the right candidate. She ran a campaign of joy, of empathy, of unity. It was what we needed.
But hold on, that's all fine. Let's just talk about facts. And I'm being honest with you because I love having you on. The American people were not interested in Beyonce and Taylor Swift. They weren't interested in the man they've elected being called a Nazi. They wanted detail. Now, one of the things that's come out in a lot of the polls and a lot of the stuff that we've been poring over in the last 12 hours is that, like him or loathe him, warts and all, Donald Trump says the things that a lot of people are thinking and gets done what needs doing. The window dressing in the Kamala Harris campaign was lovely. You're right, it was a great campaign. There wasn't much detail, though, Pablo, was there? There wasn't much detail at all, if we're honest.
Well, you know, I was listening just before the break to you where you said that whatever you think of Donald Trump, you know, he does what he says, and I just really hope you're wrong, because if you're right, then we have got some very dark times coming up.
All right, I'm not taking issue because we're friends. What are you talking about? The fact that he wants to stop your country being flooded with illegal immigrants?
I'm talking about nationwide bans on abortion. I'm talking about restricting voting.
I mean, I had an argument with my daughter because of us last night. That's not altogether true, is it? He has told the individual states that they will make a decision. He has added the caveat for rape and incest. He has not said it's a nationwide ban. It is down to the individual states, like gun control and like murder, like the death penalty. That was fabrication, Pablo. Come on, the facts are it's not a nationwide ban. The states make up their minds, right?
There's a couple of things to say on this. Firstly, the government should be getting involved. It is not a statewide issue. Men, governments, politicians should not be involving themselves in the private decisions of women. It should be free. It should be accessible. It should be accessible to everybody. The idea that it is even up for debate is outrageous.
But whether you think that or not, the American people didn't care about that. They cared about the economy and they cared about immigration. That is a fact. Now, having been part of the campaign, which you say was very good, I'm not having a go at you, you didn't hit the right notes, did you? You didn't.
Listen, I can say that I'm heartbroken. I don't know what else to tell you.
Did you genuinely think she'd win? Did you genuinely think she'd win?
Yes. And listen, I'll be totally honest with you because, you know, I enjoy being here and I'm grateful for the conversation. I'll be honest with you. I've worked on a ton of campaigns. I've been in politics for 12 years, and this is the first one I've got wrong. I worked on the campaign to Remain. I knew we were losing. I said we would lose, and we lost. I predicted Hillary would lose. You know, I'm normally pretty on it, and I'm
okay, so let's turn it round then. Let's turn it round then. Why does my phone keep... Put it on silent, you idiot. Why do you think that her campaign failed? And I go back to what I was saying. It failed because she didn't talk about the economy. She didn't talk about immigration. She didn't talk about the fact that she propped up a man for 4 years who congenitally wasn't up to the job. The thing is, if you take Donald Trump and her out of the scenario... Hear me out 1 second. 4 years of Democratic government had not left America in a better place than Donald Trump left it, whether you like him or not. I wanted her to, I guess, and so did the voters in America, to say how she was going to improve things, and she didn't, did she?
Well, I think there's a few things there. So the border is a really interesting one, right? And this is an issue that is both here in the US and in the UK. Kamala Harris was at the forefront of developing a bill and was right on the edge of getting this bill passed. And it had cross-party support from the Republicans and Democrats. It was endorsed by the Border Patrol. Mm-hmm. And then what did Donald Trump do? He called up his friends. He called up all the senators.
You said this yesterday, but you said this yesterday.
But this is my point, is that the reason that these issues don't get fixed is because Donald Trump wants to campaign on these issues. So the border crisis could have been solved But Donald Trump didn't want it solved.
Well, he's certainly gonna resolve it now. This is a man who says that. I mean, I reckon that the first thing he'll do is pardon himself, because we have the ironic situation that the 47th president of the United States of America is going to be sentenced on the 26th of November. So he'll presumably,
which is an extraordinary thing in itself, is it not? I mean, the idea that we now have a convicted criminal.
Oh, come on, Pablo, come, mate. Are you you're insulting 300 and something million people who have just voted for this man? You have to accept. Listen, I mean, I haven't heard a word from your candidate. Why has she been hiding out? Why hasn't she come out and conceded?
She's going to call Donald Trump and she's going to do a concession tonight. But let me be really clear. We are not denying the results of this election, which is a lot more than you'd be getting from Donald Trump if this was the other way around. What I will say...
Why can't you lot just accept the truth?
I do accept the truth, but listen, I am hurting for the girls and the women, the LGBT community, people of colour, immigrants.
Well, hold on, now you see, now you're just giving me open goals. One of the most extraordinary things, one of the most extraordinary parts of this whole election was that Latinos and Hispanics and black young men and immigrants, legal immigrants, voted in their droves for Donald Trump because they too feel that people are flooding your country with nothing to offer and taking advantage. You have to answer that. You're saying, I feel sorry for... These people voted for Donald Trump and not for Kamala Harris. That's a fact, Pablo.
It is a close election. They did not vote in droves. It is true that Donald Trump has won. That does not mean that everybody voted the same way.
Are you telling me this was a close election? I think he battered her. He battered her. It's not a close election.
This is a close election. And listen, I'm heartbroken. I'm not going to deny anything here. I was ready to come on here. I was celebrating a new chapter. I wanted the first woman president of the United States. And instead, we're going back to a dark chapter that we know doesn't work.
She wasn't good enough to even get on the ballot. Pablo, listen.
She was... listen, I just want to say, if this is how it's ending, I want to be really clear. Kamala Harris was a fantastic candidate. I am so proud of her. I'm proud of our campaign. We have lost, and for that, I am sorry. But Kamala Harris is an exceptional public servant, and she deserves praise for her lifetime.
I think she'll be the governor of California next. But we'll see. He's coming. And listen, one thing I will say to you, mate, I really appreciate you being on. You said you would. We appreciate it. Thank you for your hard work.